Ante la constante evolución, es esencial reaccionar a tiempo. No te limites a estar a la última. Ve un paso por delante con la plataforma de pagos unificada de Adyen. Adyen, negocios sin límites.
There's a future where you're in charge, where you look good and feel good and get what you want, no strings attached, where you cultivate interests, not interest, and you're free to go after the good stuff. Welcome to the future.
Welcome, Diana. How are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Pilar, and thank you to Modeas for inviting us to speak to you today about Levi's. Apologies with what's happening today in regards to current situation and virtual ways of working. We had a slight reboot of the computer here at the office.
It's okay. You can go ahead with your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pilar, and thank you, everybody. Feliz año nuevo a todos. Feliz año nuevo a todos. I wanted to say welcome to everybody who's joining us today for the Barcelona Fashion Summit. I congratulate Modeas and the organizers, Pilar and the team, for doing it completely digitally, especially in the current circumstances. I think it's just a great step forward in regards to keeping the fashion community connected. And I'm so proud to be here representing the Levi's company. I've been with Levi's since 2015. I managed their Canadian business for their retail, wholesale, and e-commerce. And about 2.5 years ago, I was promoted to come to South Europe to manage their France, Iberia, and Italy business, which has been an incredible experience, especially with what's going on today in regards to the pandemic, but as well as a lot of the social and political issues we've been experiencing here since late 2018. I think I was asked today to speak to you and to speak to the fashion community about what Levi's is doing in regards to the current business and as a leader and as the original denim, I would say the legacy player in the marketplace, the original, the one that created the first denim and 501. What we're doing, well, the one thing that we are doing and we're doing consistently is we're standing by our values. And that goes from everything in regards to our communities, our employee populations, our teams, to our customers, our consumers, as well as everything as it pertains to what we've been committed to since the onset, which is about 30 years of sustainability practices. And so what we wanted to show you is what our global community and our global teams think about the question of what does sustainability mean at Levi's.
Conscious decision making.
Balance.
People.
Innovation.
Change.
Planet.
Future.
Being net positive.
Impact.
Sustainability means to me putting more good into the world than we're taking out.
The words slowing down come up a lot. I try to buy used as much as possible.
I love using organic and recycled fabrics, tie-dyeing and enhancing old clothes with a new life.
I'm passionate about things that have value in it and get better with age.
Sustainability is our future. It's not a trend.
It's a complete change in the process of how we make and sell clothing, from how we grow the cotton to how we package the final item to then how it gets recycled when the user no longer needs it.
We have to look at where our clothing is made, how it's made, and who are the people that are making it.
Don't support companies that don't mirror your own values.
Doing your research.
We have to be aware of what we are doing and what we are leaving behind.
Do I really need this?
Love what you wear.
Buy less, wear it longer.
And live with it longer.
Do I see myself wearing this in 5 years?
There isn't a future unless there is sustainability.
Not more, better.
Better clothes.
Better clothes.
Better choices.
Better choices.
Better planet.
Better planet.
Better planet.
We have a history at Levi Strauss & Company in regards to leading through our values, whether it was women's voting rights or as recently as the US presidential elections and giving our employees time off in order to go out to vote, as well as really pivoting a lot of our communications, both through corporate, community, and through consumer in regards to voting message in order to promote democracy. Beyond that, being based out of San Francisco in the United States, we've always been an advocate in regards to the LGBTQT communities through anything that we've done in regards to support when we had the HIV outbreaks. And I think that's been just a continued initiative as it pertains to LGBTQT around the globe and through very, very recent initiatives in Europe in regards to an employee resource group called Unlabeled, which is basically an employee resource group, but we've extended it through product collaborations that were inspired by our employees that we did market both digitally and in our physical stores. Beyond that, I was very, very fortunate my first few years with the company to participate on something that we call the Service Corps. And unfortunately, due to the current pandemic and COVID situation we're all in, that particular program's been put on hold. But normally and under normal circumstances, every year, 20 employees get selected, and that happens twice within a year, where those employees visit our factories. And that could be our factories in Sri Lanka. They could be our factories in India. They could be in Mexico. They could be anywhere that we have factories in Poland, around the world. And those employees get to experience not only how we produce our denim jeans in regards to our sustainable practices, but they also relate and communicate and spend time with the people making our product. Beyond the people making our product, they engage with the communities. And in certain cases, and in most cases, they give back to the communities. For example, the group I was with actually rebuilt a school in Sri Lanka. And beyond anything, when we talk about our factories and sustainability and the way we produce, you think about our workers within those factories. And we do currently have worker well-being programs, which I will speak about later. But before that, there were such things as terms of engagement and minimum standards in regards to code of conduct at the factories. And Levi's was the first apparel company in regards to engaging on those code of conducts in regards to those factories and what the minimum code of conducts should be. And they open sourced that. They shared it within the apparel industry and set a benchmark. And that evolved from that initial concept of code of conduct to what today is worker well-being. We have always led through values. I think most of you are probably very, very aware of our Circles campaign, which was about diversity and inclusion and inclusiveness through dance There was a fantastic hit song that was a part of that campaign. But beyond that, my favorite campaign actually at Levi's was as recently as 2019, which was the Use Your Voice campaign. And if any of you have read about what Levi's has been doing since 2012, and since Chip Bergh joined the company, we have used our corporate voice in the corporate community in many ways in regards to what we're doing and leading through example. And it came through a voice we've developed when it came to our sustainability practices. And our sustainability practices have been open sourced within the industry, as I've mentioned. And essentially what we're doing in the last, I would say probably 6 to 8 months, is we're starting to relay those 30-year sustainable practices that Levi's has had with our consumers and asking them to join us on this journey in regards to sustainability and what we can do in order to protect our planet. We also very recently, and you probably have seen these on Instagram and your social media feeds, if not through your own searches for your favorite jeans that may be a few years old through Levi's, we did launch the Levi's secondhand digital platform, and that is a pilot in the US. And we're exploring options of similar nature in regards to our global businesses when it comes to digital, and how do we keep connecting our fan base to their favorite pair of jeans. And we also have an incredible campaign in regards to some of our new product programs through a lens of style and sustainability. And all these new programs and products are built through innovation and material, which I'll be speaking about. It is all about equality and inclusion. We had a fantastic campaign come through about women's and body positivity through our Asia, Middle East, and Africa business unit and region. And that I Shape My World women's campaign commercially was something that we also utilized in a Spanish campaign, I think within the last 6 months. Beyond that, we do take pride in pride, and that goes for pride across the world. Through our diversity and inclusion campaigns, through product programs and support. And very recently, obviously, through the racial justice issues through the US, it affects us globally. We saw many global cities stand up between London, Paris, Berlin, when it came to racial justice. And so Levi's did use their voice in regards to support of those communities and those marginalized communities that needed a voice. So style and sustainability, Levi's secondhand, it's been a real cool initiative, a cool pivot towards access through digital to find your favorite pair of jeans. I think looking at a lot of the shops in Barcelona, a lot of the stores in Spain, those secondhand stores have been trending up. I think predictively it's a $65 billion opportunity in regards to the global market space. So it's very cool that we've been able to interface and interact with our Levi's fans through Levi's secondhand, through this private pilot program. And it's very common even in cities like Paris, where the Gen Z consumer, the younger consumer, really does want to find a really great battered pair of jeans. And that's really what does have value, is how much has it been worn. And that's something that we can absolutely do through finishes in regards to new jeans. But it's something special when you could hunt it and find it through Levi's secondhand or through scourging through a secondhand store. We are probably the most recycled brand in the world, over 160 years of heritage. And there's been value associated to Levi's when it comes to age. So I think that there's something in regards to the style and sustainability that's very organic for our company. Style and sustainability in regards to physical space took place in London with the House of London. Most of you may have seen the feeds on your social media in regards to how we launched Levi's by Levi's. And this was through a lens of repair, restore, and essentially recycle. And we have tailor shop tailors that were available in regards to recreating experiences for our consumers in this space, and redesigning essentially old Levi's into new looks. And so we did it not only with the digital landscape through Secondhand by Levi's in the US, but we did it very recently in London through our Levi's by Levi's store. And then for Porta Alegre times Levi's, this is an initiative that gives back to the community directly when it comes to the refugees. And essentially, these are handmade with a cooperative, Porta Alegre, and 100% of the proceeds for these really cool quilts or really, really cool purses, or in some cases, it could be tableware that's made through the cooperative. 100% of those proceeds go back to the cooperative in order to help those communities. And everybody knows just how much of a refugee crisis Europe's been through. So this is quite a European initiative. We do a lot of this during the holiday season through our Levi.com platforms in regards to opening this up as well to our controlled, owned and operated retail spaces. And it's been just a very, very popular initiative, especially from an inspiration standpoint for our employees who support it greatly. Consumers are looking more and more for companies that care. And I think that is going to be a continued trend. It's no longer just the job of the people who govern us and our governments, but very much something that is very active in regards to corporate and brand culture. And it is a trend that's growing, and probably growing because of the current circumstances that we're facing in regards to COVID, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 in certain countries. So it is a trend that's growing. Almost 87% of consumers really supporting brands that make a positive difference. And again, really meaning something with the youth, where all their choices are going to be about the brands and the companies that really do stand by their values and practice it in everything that they do. And sustainable fashion has grown 5 times over since 2015. No surprise to us, as we've seen the secondhand surge in regards to a circular economy emerge and bloom overnight. So we're trying to change the clothing industry. It's something that we've been doing from day one in regards to a 30-year story when it came to code of conduct practices for factories, bare minimums in regards to what those factories should be doing to set up their spaces for their employees and how they treat their employees and how they manufacture and what they're manufacturing. So I think this is something that is just a continuum over the 30 years. And really we want not only our consumers to join us, but the entire apparel industry. We've open sourced a lot of different initiatives that we have innovated on. And that comes from fabrication to factory practices to even an employee resource group like Red Tap Foundation, which is a resource group and is a foundation which allows employees to contribute financially every month, or it could be certain times of the year. And those funds are given back to employees who are in need. It could be a one-time need during a personal crisis. It could be a crisis like what we're going through today. It could be job loss for a spouse or a partner, or it could be another type of family crisis, a medical crisis. And very, very recently, just this fall, our employees raised over $3 million for Red Tap Foundation, which was just re-given back. A lot of companies contacted Levi's in order to understand what we do through Red Tap. And we open sourced that playbook, something that we're known to do with many different things that give back and make a difference in our communities. Sustainability is through a lens of everything that we do. It is not only through the ways we produce or the fabrics that we're using. It's through how we do business, and it's how we treat our people. It's how we relate to our customers, our clients, our consumers. It's how we deal with competitors. It's how we deal with our vertical competitors. It's a shared community practice in regards to how we do business inside our company as well as outside our company. And it's not just about production and manufacturing practices. We've been pioneers. It's not only that we created the first jean in the late 1800s, we've been pioneers when it came to our first water quality standards. And then that was in 1994. What I'm particularly proud of is the 1991 aspect of standards within our factories and how we produce and where we produce and what those health and safety standards are in the factories that later on emerged to worker well-being. In 2000, we established a restricted substance list, and this restricted substance list then was adopted by a lot of different apparel players. In 2005, we were the first company to list our publicly our factory lists, and really have that transparency in regards to where we produce our products, our jeans, our t-shirts. In 2007, we were the first to do a life cycle assessment, and that's the life of a pair of jeans from the time we produce it till the end. And we realized a lot of great things. We realized, wow, 65% of water use is after production, and we realized just how damaging it is in regards to how we produce denim. And that's where other KPIs came in regards to reducing water consumption when it came to denim production. And I think right now we have up to 20 different techniques in order to reduce the water consumption. In 2009, we were the first to put care labels in our product to talk about how to use less energy, how do you use less water, because 65% of the water usage coming after you buy your products tells you a lot about what you can do differently, and it is all about knowledge and care. In 2010, we came up with a waterless way of producing jeans and reduced the water consumption through different ways of making sure that we can show a faded jean and a faded finish without using water-intensive practices. 2011 was when we came up with worker well-being, which was the evolution of that first health and safety or code of conduct or terms of engagement at factory level. It became about worker well-being. It became about how well they're educated financially in order to do their finances. It became about their health, their eyes. It became about their eyes as they produce and bringing doctors and bringing clinics within the factory locations in order to do those types of tests. It became about comfort and ergonomics during work. And it became about all kinds of different things. It became about how they get to work in certain communities and facilitating how they get to work. And last but not least, in 2015, the screen chemistry, because there's a lot of chemical usage in regards to how we produce, especially when it comes to color dyes, when it comes to apparel. So we did come up with that. And again, that was something else that we open sourced with our competition, the verticals, and the apparel community. And actually, Nike and H&M enabled and supported in regards to Levi's and foundation work in order to really, really formalize what that screen chemistry looks like. So it comes to life in many different ways, and it comes through the type of fabrications that we've started to create. Cotton has now evolved to organic cotton. And so now we're creating cotton that is free of fertilizers, free of pesticides, free of herbicides. And then we've created jeans through cottonized hemp, which is even better for the, I would say, the planet in regards to the way that's produced, uses less water than cotton. It's cleaner. It leaves a healthier soil afterwards. And in our new collections, you'll see more and more cottonized hemp. We used recycled polyester and a lot of these synthetics. And I wanted to show you guys just how incredible some of these recycled synthetics look. They look brand new in regards to some of these new collections, but they're all recycled. And they're replacing less sustainable materials that are new, virgin materials that are new. Beyond that, we have well thread, which is actually associated to what I spoke about in regards to chemical usage. A lot of those dyes are very, very natural. Those pigments have come to play very naturally. And well thread, anything that we label well thread, is the most sustainable product we're marketing today. So for anybody who's really, really conscious about that, we do have well thread. And waterless and water action strategy, we do have KPIs that we've met. I think we had a KPI in 2017 where we saved up to 1 billion liters of water based on an initiative we had between 2015 and 2017. And then that repair, reimagine, recycle. What we're doing at the Levi's House of London, which I spoke about, or Levi's by Levi's, which is all about refurbishing your jeans, patching your jeans, recreating looks with your jeans, and having a tailor recreate it to the looks of the season. So you don't need to purchase a new pair. So we have ongoing initiatives, and there are initiatives that we're very, very proud of. Sustainably sourced cotton and other materials versus cotton, as well as an evolution to worker well-being, which is something I'm very proud of, as I'm very passionate in regards to women's evolution and women's rights. And essentially, the majority of apparel workers are women. So this is actually creating also a movement as it pertains to women in regards to the developing countries. I'd like to share a video with you about what we're doing this season, some of which I showed you some products that are incorporating some of these new innovative materials and ways of producing. So we're really communicating it now. We are, as I said, we would be the most recycled brand in the world. And with what's happening right now with vintage being so cool and sustainability, something that is completely valued in regards to community, we really are making Levi's there to last. And so one of the major things we're trying to do in regards to even communicating and speaking to our consumer is to talk about how quality never goes out of style, and that we're here to stay, and we're made to last. So it is a communication to say, hey, you know what, buy better, buy less, and shop like the world depends on it. And I think based on even some of the phone calls our companies received from some Paris-based academics, it's a real interesting question as a business today about the fact that we are going towards more of a sustainable model, and it is something that will continue. It's beyond a trend. It's about the planet. It's about us. And so the question being, how do you make that sustainable? And how do you continue on a journey that Levi's is known for, which is we generate profits through principles. And then by generating those profits, we could be more principled, and we could be more ethical company players in regards to the industry, and really move the industry to where it needs to go. So it is very, very interesting as to the phone calls coming from some of the academic community in Paris. But I think from a consumer standpoint, we're really focusing this on speaking to the consumer through a buy better and buy less. And it's coming through where they're going to be shopping and how they're going to be shopping, and the collection in regards to the materials, which I've spoken about, which again, some of this is with Levi's things we put goals to. I talked about 1 billion liters being saved in regards to water usage, in regards to the way we produced the denim between, I believe it was 2015 and 2017 and 18. Now our new goal in regards to recycled fibers and synthetic fibers is that by 2030, so by 2030, that means in 9 years that we convert all our synthetic usage, like the Sherpa jacket I just showed you, to 100% recycled material. which is these types of goals that really do drive the company results. And normally we have noticed in the past when we set these goals, we usually hit them 1 year to 1 year in advance due to the dedicated sustainability teams we have working for us, both in San Francisco and in our factory base. So where we can make a difference, essentially it's throughout the ecosystem. So we could make things more sustainable, through our raw materials. So we're making it sustainably. So buy better through these sustainable materials. I mentioned organic cotton, cottonized hemp, recycled fibers. We have Tencel Lyocell, which is actually made through eucalyptus and through spruce trees that are renewable. So that's a great material in regards to our chambrays and some of our shirts that look like denim. And I spoke about well thread and all those dyes that use less chemicals. I think with well thread, we reduced chemical usage from the normal 1,000 on a generic apparel and garment to only 4 chemicals being used. And that's quite the drop in regards to that. 4 to 12 contingent on the new material. And again, these dyes are plant-based techniques that we've utilized in regards to the processes and the dyes. Beyond that, extending the life of the product, and it is about buy less. This is beyond just secondhand, that digital platform in the US, or the Levi's by Levi's in London, in the House of London. This is also with all our tailor shops that we have globally. And we have over, I believe, 300 of those in the European marketplace, in both our own controlled retail, so that goes with our Levi's stores, or our wholesale environments. So we're also activating those tailors online. So it's about repair, it's about reinvent, it's about recreate, rejuvenate. And beyond that, reducing our waste in regards to the way we recycle in order to close the loop. Like I said about all these synthetic materials in our 2030 goal in regards to doing 100% in regards to the synthetic materials. So the message for us is to buy better, and that goes through our sustainable fibers, our sustainable production, and our labor through our worker well-being programs. Again, those worker well-being programs will evolve to a worker well-being program phase 2, which is an enhanced initiative in order to make sure that the factory workers and the people who produce our products are taken care of in regards to more from a mid to long-term basis. And our product offers, I've mentioned all the different materials, whether they're the recycled materials, cottonized hemp, or organic cotton. And our product offer really does relate to this in regards to the more durable products, the recycled products. And if I would have to highlight 3 things today, it would be to be looking ahead and strive for circularity. It's here today, and it's really accelerating now because of current circumstances with our concerns with the pandemic, as well as just more concern in regards to what we could do differently in order to lead as apparel leaders, as apparel companies, and how we could influence the future. So if I had to say what our message would be to the fashion community, our messaging will be very much about buy better quality, longer lasting quality, buy less, because we do believe consumption is something that will be being reduced. And then last but not least, it's not at the cost of style. Sustainability doesn't have to be at the cost of style. And I think Levi's is a testament to that as over 165 years old. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana, for your presentation. Let's move on now to the Q&A section. Como llevamos toda la tarde con ellos, Joan y Elvira, de nuevo, bienvenidos. No sé si alguno quiere empezar a plantear alguna pregunta.
I can start if you want. Hi, Diana. Thank you for your presentation. And congratulations for all the big efforts that you're doing from a sustainability point of view. So it's really thankful. I would like to make a question, and it's a fact that due to the pandemic, the behaviors of the customers have changed. People are more recentering their social lives into the home environment, and that leads us to the comfy style. So people are searching for comfy garments, like with fragile textiles like wool or cashmere or wherever, so really comfy to be at home. So how does Levi's handle this trend or new behavior of the customer? Does it represent a threat for you, or it's on the opposite, it's an opportunity?
Excellent question, because with teletravail and the government's mandates in regards to stay-at-home orders and essentially our ability to do even this virtually between Barcelona and Paris and people coming in from Germany. I know there's a lot of Europeans that have joined. It doesn't allow for a dress-up moment anymore. It doesn't allow for that occasion anymore. So more often than not, consumers are in their loungewear and in their active wear. And I think I've seen some really humorous ads with, a man being in a suit on the top, but being in his shorts in the bottom, or even some of my women colleagues would wear their Nike workout clothes underneath a jean jacket during various calls. I think for us, the current circumstance actually has been favorable because of the fact that a good beaten up pair of jeans or cut off jeans, depending on where you are in the world at what times from a seasonality standpoint, and a t-shirt is a pretty good solution to your athletic wear. So for us, it's been, I think, a real positive trend in regards to current, momentums we've seen in regards to how the consumer is still very much enthusiastic about what the brand offerings are and keeping up with what the new brand offerings are. We also, though, feel it's extremely relevant, and we did launch an athletic or athleisure collection, and we did it in select stores, select digital, as well as the select physical environments, where we tested with, as we've done many things in regards to our tops programs, especially in Europe, and t-shirts and fleeces. We extended that to actually extend a full kind of athleisure, I would say, top to bottom look for both men's and women's. And we've tested it just very, very recently and had some significant, results in regards to some of those product programs, because people associate comfort with Levi's. They're already, picking up a pair of jeans or clicking on their favorite 501. And so they're extending their category purchases with us with this new program, which is still a very, very test program. But we are getting a lot of positive feedback from the marketplace about this continued athleisure trend, which I think will stay around for a while, because even as we go back to the offices, and we've opened a number of our offices globally. So, there's contingent on the stay-at-home orders or the government mandates. We are, engaging to some degree certain days of the week within offices around the world. But, more often than not, depending on the employee, they have the choice to work from home and do meetings virtually. And we've been able to operate like a lot of the industry has been able to operate with new digital tools. It's accelerated those new digital tools. And I think the consumer is feeling that too, and will continue to feel that option. And I think it will be a trend that'll stay.
Joan, do you have one last question for Diana?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Diana, for the presentation. When I think about Levi's, I think about an iconic brand with an iconic product for several generations. And probably the challenge is how to appeal to this younger base of consumers. Is sustainability the way to engage with all these new generations of consumers to Levi's?
Great question. Great question, because I think we've been doing sustainability for 30 years in many of our practices, but quietly. And quietly because of the fact that, first of all, an authentic heritage brand, an original, do you really want to communicate something that's just part of your way of respecting the values of your company and the forefathers that built this company and the original family that built it up, that's to some degree still involved with the company. So I think there's an element there of, that question, which was big debates in regards to brand and how we market, what does it mean? Today, we think that youth, it matters. Yes, today we do. And I think it has really accelerated probably in the last 3 years. And it's accelerated in a very, very big way, because I think, whether it was Greta Thunberg or just all the different things that exposed and opened up the youth to this through their culture and through their language, I think they're now very aware. And we're seeing our trend books are telling us there's an uptick. And that's actually a segment for us, which is still evolving, the youth. And we've definitely grown in women's. In certain parts of the world, we've grown with men's youth. I think transparently in South Europe, we have a greater opportunity with men's youth. So I think there's an element there of a continued story that we'll be telling. And this season will be a very big season for us in regards to that communication directly with the consumer. So we'll be able to tell you more in the coming months about how that communication and marketing strategy is resonating.
Thank you again, Diana, for your presentation and your answers. It's been very interesting. Y gracias a Elvira y a Joan por vuestras preguntas. Muchas gracias. Pilar.
Muchas gracias.
Terminamos aquí el primer día, la primera jornada de Barcelona Fashion Summit 2021. Simplemente recordaros que mañana para conectar utilizando el mismo link y exactamente igual que hoy. Así que gracias por conectaros. Os esperamos mañana puntuales a las 4 hora española para la segunda jornada de Barcelona Fashion Summit. Muchísimas gracias por seguirnos.
Ante la constante evolución, es esencial reaccionar a tiempo. No te limites a estar a la última. Ve un paso por delante con la plataforma de pagos unificada de Adyen. Adyen, negocios sin límites.
There's a future where you're in charge, where you look good and feel good and get what you want, no strings attached, where you cultivate interests, not interest, and you're free to go after the good stuff. Welcome to the future.